Hello students, today we're going to check our homework systems. We're going to learn more on systems of equations and you will be able to do 5.8. Today students will be able to solve systems of linear equations by elimination, but we will be multiplying by an integer. Okay, yesterday we did multiplying by -1, but today is by an integer. So before we start, I want you to take note of the steps that we were following, and I want you to have them present right now. So the steps to eliminate is to make sure that we have coefficients that are opposite of each other, meaning a +8, a -8, a -3, +3, -1, +1. Okay, same number but with the opposite sign. Then the second step is to, once we have the opposite coefficients, we're able to add our equations so that we eliminate one of the variables, and then we can find the value of the remaining variable, meaning solving for the variable that is still there. Finally, we get one of the two equations and substitute the answer that we get for this variable. We need to be careful which variable answer we have. If we have the answer of y, we replace y. If we have the answer of x, then we replace x in the one equation that we have. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to be able to fit and leave this on the side, but at least part of it. But hopefully you can write it on a post-it or something so that you can have it in front of you. So let's start with 1 first. So just to refresh, we have x plus y equals 2, x minus y equals 0. We notice that the coefficients are opposite of each other for the y, and so we're ready to cancel. Okay, this was from before, but again, it's just so that we can recall. And now we're ready to add the equations by adding x plus x is 2x, and positive y plus negative y, that cancels, and 2 plus 0 is 2. Find the value of the remaining variable, the ones that it's still there. So we divide both sides by 2. X is equals to 1. Now we have the value for x, which is 1. Let me see if I can focus it a little bit more. Maybe that's good, but now we are going to find y by replacing this in one of the two equations. We don't get both, and I keep repeating this just because some people think that because we use both equations on the first step, that we're going to use both equations on the second step, and that's not true. Only one of the two equations. And so I'm going to use this equation and replace x by 1. So 1 plus y is equals to 2. I subtract 1 from both sides, and so y is equals to 1. So now I have the value of y as well. So that's where the two linear equations are going to meet. Okay. Also from before, we have 2x plus y equals 7, 2x plus 3y equals 13. So we notice that the coefficients are not opposite of each other. They have the same value, 2 and 2, but they're supposed to be one positive and one negative. Okay, so when that's the case, when you have both of the same sign and the same number, we're going to multiply one of the equations by -1, but it's going to be all three terms. Okay, and so my new equation is going to be -1 times 2x is -2x, -1 times y is -y, -1 times 7 is -7. The second equation is going to stay as it is. And now that I have coefficients that are opposite of each other, one positive and one negative, I'm ready to add my two equations. And by adding my two equations, I'm going to be able to eliminate one of the variables. So this cancel. I owe y, I have 3y, so I'm going to end up with 2y equals negative 7 plus 13 is positive 6. And then I'm going to find the value of this remaining variable by dividing by 2. And so y is equals to 3. So I have my value for y, which is 3. Now I need to find x. Be careful. Which one are we replacing? The y. And we only need one of the two equations, okay? I'm going to choose the second one just for a change. So 2x plus 3y, the y is going to be replaced. Notice that I'm still keeping my coefficient because some people think that they replace the whole 3y by 3, and no, it's only the y equals 13. The other thing is that this means multiplication, so I'm going to be multiplying, not adding or not just leaving it as 33. Okay, it's 3 times 3, which is 9, and the rest we're just going to bring down, and then I start solving. So 2x is equals to 4. Divide both sides by 2, and so x is equals to 2. Okay, so that's where my two lines will meet. My system of equation solution is 0.23. So that's just review. One where they already have the opposite coefficients. One where you don't have opposite coefficients, but you have the same number, so you just need to multiply by -1. Now let's look at one where you need to multiply by an integer. And so in here, I have opposites in here, opposite signs, but not really opposite, sorry, because 2 is not opposite of 3. We would need a -3 to make them opposite. And I cannot multiply 2 times something to make it a -3. However, in here, we know that the coefficient is 1. So can I multiply 1 times something to make it the opposite of -5, meaning +5? And then you would say, yes, +5, because 5 times 1 is 5, and that will make it go away. That will help it cancel. So again, how do I find this number, this integer? I need to look for what number multiplied by this makes it the opposite of this, okay? And so it would be 5, because 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 is the opposite of -5. So my resulting equation would be 5 times -2x is -10x. 5 times 1y is +5y. Nice, now they can cancel. Equals 5 times 4 is 20. Don't forget to multiply also by the term on the other side of the equal sign. And then we bring the other one down, just as it is right now. And now they have opposite coefficients, so we're ready to add the two equations. And so -10x plus 3x is -7x. 5y minus 5y, you get 0 or cancel. And 20 plus 15 is 35. If you're multiplying, the opposite is divide. And so x is equals to +35 divided by -7 is -5. Okay, so now I have the value of x. Now I just have to figure out value of y. And so I'm going to replace in any of the two, it doesn't matter which one, okay? Let me use, let's see, I'll use the first one now. So negative 2x, but x is what? Negative 5 plus y is equals to 4. Negative 2 times negative 10, negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10 plus y is equals to 4. I subtract 10 from both sides, and so y is equals to negative 6. Okay, so that will be my answer. The point where my two lines intersect. Okay, now you have this new set of equations. And so I noticed that in here I can multiply this to make it into a positive 6. Remember, I need the opposite. If I have a negative 6, I need this to be a positive 6. Since it's a negative, automatically, and I need a positive, so I need to change the sign, put a minus in there. Not because this is negative, but rather because you have the same signs, you need one of them to be a different sign, put a minus in there. And 3 times what number equals 6? 2. So this will say negative times negative is positive, and 2 times 3 is 6. Positive 6 is the opposite of it. Good, it checks. So I'm going to start multiplying. And so my resulting equation will be negative times negative is positive 6x. Negative times negative is positive 2y. And then negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. This one you will bring just as it is, negative 6x, positive 2y, negative 12. Now that they have opposite signs, we can add the two equations and this eliminate. So I have 2y plus 2y is 4y equals 12 minus 12 is 0. Divide both sides by 4, and so y is equals to 0. I have the value of y, which is 0. Now I need to find x. And so I'm going to choose this one. Negative 6x plus 2 times 0, because y is 0, is equals to negative 12. Negative 6x plus 0, because 2 times 0 is 0, is equals to negative 12. Negative 6x plus 0 is just negative 6x equals negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 6. Remember that in division we keep the same sign. And so x is positive 2, because negative divided by negative is positive. So 2. So these are the examples for eliminating when you need to multiply by an integer. Just recalling, this negative will go here only if the ones that you need to make opposite, both are the same sign. So it could be two positives, you need a negative in there so that one of them changes to a negative. If they're both negatives, you need a negative in there so that one of them changes to a positive. Okay, so I hope this helps, and now you can work on 5.8.